Hello everybody and welcome back to the Kingdom Hearts HD Dream Drop Distance playthrough. We are now into the field, and I told you I thought they were going to get a little bit stormy, and they definitely have. It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring, he went to bed and bumped his head. And I can't quite remember how that song ends. I have the feeling it's like he won't get up in the morning, which is a little bit grim, if you ask me, but I could just be making that up. But yeah, this is a wonderfully changed aesthetic for from where we were. Like, obviously the wonderful cloud walk, the stunning glen, and now we've got this sort of drenching rain with lightning everywhere. It does make it slightly at odds, I suppose, with the really wonderful Pastoral Symphony, but it is fun. And also, can I just say that Salvation is a really fun move. It's only really useful in terms of major crowd control, but it is still a lot of fun to pull off. It takes a while to load as well, in terms of, you know, there's a bit of a charge up, but it is just, it's really fun and really flashy, and fun and flashy moves are always a delight. But effectively, the way that you get through this is that there are two of these little melody catcher things, and once you pull them off, you can, one, you know, murder some enemies if you get lucky. I believe that there's a trophy for killing 4 at once with a melody catcher, but the clouds part and the field just becomes really beautiful. I mean, it's not quite as gorgeous as the glen or the cloud walk, because it is just much more of a big open space with nothing really happening in it. But it does look very pretty, and I can live with that. And I hope, and I do actually think I might succeed, that we're going to get some good old Dream Eater making tools as we explore the field. I've got a good feeling about this. Don't quite have as much of a good feeling at using Whirling Bronco to cause any sort of major damage, but I mean, it's not doing horrendously. Just maybe would have liked a few more hits there, but yeah, we can make do. But I will say, one of the things that it's not something that I'm expecting from, like, Kingdom Hearts 3 or anything, but as we progress further through the Kingdom Hearts series, i.e., you know, when we get to Kingdom Hearts 4 and its sequels, I really would like to see Kingdom Hearts experiment, I suppose, a bit more with worlds like this, ones that are slightly more off-piste from what people would expect. Because, I mean, so since the conception of the first Kingdom Hearts, Cinema had always wanted to include a world based on Fantasia, and rightly so. I think it's one that has a lot of potential, and I do think leads to some really interesting design choices, leads to some really interesting visuals and all that jazz. But initially, he wasn't able to include it in the original Kingdom Hearts. I think it might have been a little bit too off the wall at that point. But he did manage to include Chernobog as a boss in End of the World, and you did get the wonderful Knight on Bold Mountain playing throughout that. And yeah, that was... It wasn't the best of boss fights, if I'm being perfectly honest. Largely because it suffered from the issues that the Ursula fight suffered from, being just slightly too big, and sort of you wanted to spend most of your time kind of sitting on the shoulder to avoid all the attacks, but Chernobyl was a pain in the sense that it was very difficult to do that, and just generally the flying controls weren't phenomenal, so you did end up being a little bit more frustrated than you perhaps would have been otherwise. Also, did that Tamashi just use my balloon tactics on me? Cheeky absolute blighter using my own tactics against me. Whew, that is not okay. Well, I'm glad you suffered quite brutally, but I'm going to have to rectify that at some point, because I mean I do really want Balloonga at some point, because that is a really helpful move. Because obviously Balloonga is the more powerful version of Balloonra. And so what you kind of will likely end up doing is having Balloonga and Balloonra in your deck. A combination of the two is generally quite helpful, particularly for some of the more challenging fights, because they really do just sort of blitz through a lot of the difficulty, which is a pretty cheap way of doing it, but it works. The game puts that as an option, and therefore it would be rude not to take it. Also, 3 flow motion attacks. You're not even trying with these challenges, although it would appear that, despite the fact that they're not trying with these challenges, I can't hit a damn thing. But yeah, basically the one thing that you want to make sure that you don't do is head all the way to the end of this area and pick up the sound idea. It's pretty clear which route it is that leads to that. So your best bet is just try not to, because otherwise, you'll sort of get booted out. At least I think you get booted out. And then if you've missed any chests, you're going to have to go back in, and that's just not very fun. And just for making it very, very, very clear, the actual route that you want to go is, I believe, that long spindly thing to the north. Also, I am so down for this move. This is amazing. Not entirely brilliant, when it ends up making the enemies despawn and respawn, but it could be worse. We could have those enemies succeeding at putting us to sleep. Blech. But I don't think there's actually that many chests left for us to pick up. I think we are pretty much there. I don't know why I'm thinking, go this way, don't go this way. This is where the end of the level is. You see, I just wasted all that time running up there. I mean, to be honest, when you've got like those 2 areas left, my brain did think, oh, the area on the other side is clearly the end one because it's slightly bigger. Therefore, it's we're more likely to have a boss fight or something of that ilk. It's not. Our boss fight isn't even in this area. Somewhere completely different. But that's fine. But the final treasure chest that we so desperately want is definitely in this little nook. And that is fine by me, and hopefully once this is done we shall be able to get some pretty magical stuff. And I do know that that is Sorcerer's Apprentice. I'm not able to identify some of them, but I do know my da 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 da. I know my Sorcerer's Apprentice at least. Oh, it was just triple plasma. I've already got triple plasma. I've been using it for ages. But either way, that's all of the treasure chests in Symphony of Sorcery, which does definitely make me very happy. And I'm pretty sure that I saw we got an epic fantasy not that long ago. And an epic fantasy should hopefully allow us to get that Tyrantorex that I have so desperately been after. So let's see whether that is a possibility. I mean, we've got a slot now because Rebecca's done. Not fully because obviously it's not gone, yeah, you complete! But I'd need to actually sort out the changing the personality type in order to unlock that, which is a bit annoying, but hey, well, changing the disposition of the Dream Eater, and I put Evan in there because we're just like, yes, we're going to celebrate Evan, and then I can make my Tyrantorex. Best present ever. So I think I'm going to use an elixir because I want a badass Tyrantorex, please. And now we're finally on the way to getting once more. It's taken us long enough, but we finally have a Dream Eater that can do it. What are we going to call our delightful friend? We're going to call him Connor. After Connor from Dear Evan Hansen. Somewhat in keeping with his character of being a little bit aggressive, but Connor is ultimately a tragic character, and while obviously we don't want our Connor to be quite that tragic, it's still sort of somewhere to go. And whilst we're at it, clearly because I don't need a flower meow anymore, I could probably make Ms. Oliphant. Not going to say no to that. At least I don't think I'm going to say no to that, because the Zolophant has been sitting there for a while asking to be made, which didn't quite succeed. Now the question is, what am I going to call my Zolophant? I'm going to stick with the Dear Evan Hansen naming. Yes, I am. I'm going to call it Zoe. After Zoe from Dear Evan Hansen, which is a bit mean because Zoe is definitely not an elephant, but the names start with a Z. When I originally played Pokemon Colosseum, and actually also it's what I did when I was doing my trying to 100% Pokemon Fire Red, like collect every single Pokemon, and I got so close that gen. I think I did manage to get to 385, I want to say. I think all I missed was Deoxys. Well, I could be wrong on that. Yeah, I named every single Pokemon that I had, and all of their names started with the first letter of their actual Pokemon names. So I can't remember exactly what I called them, but it would have been like Rebecca the Rapidash, Edward the Espeon. The only exception was my Umbreon, which I called Dark Light, because, you know, completely edgy. And, okay, we've stopped the Dear Evan Hansen, and I believe I've now moved on to Be More Chill. So we're going very contemporary musical theatre right now. Which is totally fine with me, because I'm really loving some of the musicals that have come out as of late. Like, they've had really quite wonderful and thought-provoking soundtracks, and also I just really like having them on repeat. Like, they're great. Like, there are some right old musical theatre bops in some of those musicals, and I love it. And oh, we can get a cab cannon. Let's go for it. I'm just going to take whatever Dream Eaters I can get at this point. try and, you know, bump us further and further towards that 100% spirit ranking. So, if I'm calling... What am I going to call the cab cannon then? I'm going to call him Jeremy? Yes! So, Jeremy's the protagonist of Be More Chill. Bit of a dick, but when you're the loser geek or whatever for most of your life, sometimes if given the option to fight against that, you are probably going to yeah, you're going to rebel against that stereotype and do whatever you can to escape it. I didn't, because I'm quite content with being a geek or whatever. But still, I really want that once more, so that's what we're going to walk towards. Faraga Burst can be very helpful from what I remember, but really what we want is once more. That's the main thing, and I'm so glad that we have it now. And I really like the Tyrannosaurus, but it is so big, and it can frequently get in the way of your movement. It's very powerful, don't get me wrong, it's a great ally to have, but yeah, it can sometimes get in your way a wee bit. But still, there is our sound idea, so let's pick it up and see where it leads us.
So easily you sink into the depths of slumber.
Why are you here?
Beautiful world, isn't it? Almost like a dream.
Why are you following me around?
You really haven't caught on? Or are you just assuming it's all part of your little test? I'm not part of the dream. And if you thought I was, then you're softer than they say.
What?
But this will all be over soon.
Just who are you people?
Sleep on and we will meet again.
Hey! What does that mean?
Thank you, Sora. I can tell you found us a sound idea. Well, I guess we should try and put it to work. That's strange. Is one sound idea not enough?
Don't worry. I've got a friend out there who'll help. He's always picking up the slack for me.
Wow! The sounds are all joining together to make even more powerful music!
Yeah. Two forces are better than one. Right, Riku? Okay. Can I get in there to fight that thing now?
Yes, but Sora...
I'll be fine. See you in a jiff.
Can I just say, Dream Drop Distance's version of Dearly Beloved is absolutely stunningly beautiful. I would say that so far, it's probably my favourite iteration of the song, or at least one of them. It's really, really beautiful. No matter how many times I listen to Dearly Beloved, it never failed to make me smile and really, really happy. But we are heading right on into a boss fight, which is it's going to be interesting, to say the least. Because finally we're going to get to take our frustrations out on Spellican, because obviously he got away from us the first time, and now we're going to get to bring it right on home. And apologies if you heard a sort of weirdo bang there, that was me whacking me desk, because that's always a good thing to do, isn't it? So, we begin our fight against Spellican on this thing. I'm going to do a pretty terrible job of this bit. It's a little bit of a nightmare. Basically what you've got to do is, I believe, press the square button to basically catch up to Spellican. And then when you're close enough, you can then go in for the attack. That said, because you can't heal during this phase, it is really actually quite difficult to catch up and do well. But thankfully, as soon as you do catch up, you're immediately thrown into a regular battle, which means that I had just enough time to heal. Which, all I can say is thank God for that, because I was really quite worried. Basically, yeah, it's not a square button, is it? It's, oh, I don't even know what button it is anymore. No, it is the square button because we're on the PS4. I was thinking that we were on the 3DS. I'm going, it's not a square? What's wrong with you, man? No, it is a square. Because then that sort of dashes you forward, and that's really helpful. But clearly did not go well for me the first time. I didn't quite figure that one out. I should have read a bit better. What is quite cool is that if you use Zero Gravity, mostly Zero Gravira or Graviga, then you can do a great job of stalling Spellican right where he stands, and that is really super helpful in terms of just getting in damage on him. He does then do this bit, which basically what you need to do to get around it is actually find out where he is, and then go and murder him to stop him, you know, from attacking from elsewhere. You can also just murder the things and then they'll probably pop up somewhere. He likes teleporting a lot to Spellican, which is quite frustrating. But it's why you want to use things like Faraga, Triple Plasma, Balloonra. Anything that homes in on him will pretty much kill him quite quickly. And also, you know, we got to listen to Sorcerer's Apprentice whilst that was all happening. And yeah, he went down quite quickly. I'm surprised it did go that quickly, but I'm totally fine with that.
Thanks, Sora. Don't know what I would have done without you. Oh no!
Huh?
The water! Oh, I'm in big trouble if I don't fetch it. See ya real soon, Sora.
Yeah, you know it.
And that, my friends, is the end of Sora's time with Symphony of Sorcery. And that is the end of Sora's second cycle of worlds. All that's left is the final one, but we can't go there until we've finished our time with Riku in Symphony of Sorcery. Which is obviously what we'll be doing next time, but before we can actually do that, let's... Oh, we've not really got anything going on there. Oh well, that's fine. We'll switch over to Counterpoint, which is the best Keyblade that you can have, really, at the end of the game. The only one that I would say you could potentially have that's better is one that you get for gold ranking all of the dives, but obviously you can't do that until you've actually done the next dive. Might be worth getting that, but we'll live with Counterpoint. So yeah, we're going to drop and head right on into Riku's version of Symphony of Sorcery. Let's go!